fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot, with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey with me. Truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And if you're new here, welcome. This is a reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. We do things completely differently around here, so with that in mind, if the messages happen to resonate, it would truly mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you would like to support the channel further, check out the description box. It'll have everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member here on the channel. Very quickly, I would love to send a special thank you to those of you that are supporting me further and who have just been an overall contribution to this incredible tribe that we belong to. So today we are asking the question, how are you misunderstood? This was a channeled message, and I'm actually really excited to do this reading. So we're going to see what comes through. Let's hop to your prayer though, and we will get this reading underway. And yeah. Well, hopefully that's not going to blow out my candle. The wind is blowing in from the window real quick. Here, let me try a different angle. Alright, we'll see if that works a little better. Alright. Maybe not. Maybe not. Alright. My beloved source, this prayer is for anyone and everyone that comes onto this reading, or whether it's for a moment's time or for the entire time. Sometimes we wander through this journey feeling like we don't belong. Like we're not a part of a community, or we're not a part of a tribe. It's a lonely journey at times. It's a little overwhelming when it's so lonely and so isolated from the people that we knew in our past. And we're stepping into a higher timeline. And we're stepping into a place that we've maybe never had an opportunity to explore before. And as we open up to new experiences and new relationships, it's that transitional in-between period that can be incredibly overwhelming and can make us feel so disconnected from ourselves, from you, from each other. And so today I ask that you bring forth clear signs, not only in the reading, but throughout their days, so that they know that you are always with them, and that you are always supporting them, and that there are people that are manifested in this physical realm who do understand, see, value, and honor each of these fellow humans here exactly as they are. Sometimes we need that guidance, and sometimes we need that reminder. So I pray that you do these things. As these words are spoken upon this tribe, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. Alright, let me get this set up over here. So I felt really called to use the Soul's Journey Oracle deck by James Van Praagh. I felt like this was a fitting deck to use for this particular reading. So source, how are my fellow humans misunderstood? What would you like to share with us? How are my fellow humans misunderstood? What Soul Journey Oracle cards are going to better help us understand how my fellow humans are misunderstood? How are my fellow humans misunderstood? Thank you. How are my fellow humans misunderstood? For pile number 1, source, how are my fellow humans misunderstood? What oracle card is going to help us better understand this? This one. Thank you. Source for pile number 2, what Soul's Journey Oracle card is going to help us better understand how pile number 2 is misunderstood? Thank you. For pile number 3, source, what Soul's Journey Oracle card is going to help us better understand how pile number 3 is misunderstood. How is pile number 3 misunderstood? Thank you. Alright, on the bottom of the deck is a collective message. I'm not surprised this card came out, just in general. We have empathy. I'm open to seeing both sides of the situation. A lot of the ways as a collective you're misunderstood is for your ability to put on the shoes of another person. In fact, I feel like there's been many, many times where you've shown up when people have been going through some very horrendous situations, and you've been the pillar in their lives. And the minute that the situation is done, it's as if you cease to exist in their lives. You have given them all this love. You've given them all this support. You left the door open to continue to build friendship and connection beyond that. But as soon as the situation was resolved, you became obsolete. You had served your purpose. And a lot of people, how they misunderstand you is that they really don't believe that you're capable of seeing the whole situation as it is. But you are. You're not only able to put on another person's shoes and walk a mile in their shoes, you probably experienced something very similar to that in your life, or you've experienced a hardship that allows you to see the whole spectrum of emotions. And it's almost as if people simply expect you to only be the support system and not to ever need support. And they're like, oh, you know what? They've got it. They'll never need my support. There's nothing that I could say to help them. But for you, if someone just said, hey, is everything good? Like, are you okay? Do you need me to talk to you? Do you need me to listen to you? Do you just need me to show up and be with you? That little act would mean the world to you. But receiving that has been few and far in between, if ever, in life. There's not been many people who have actually taken a step to be that. And it's very lonely and it's very upsetting because you've given so much of yourself to others. And you've been this beautiful source of love, but only to be taken advantage of. And you are still coming from a compassionate place because you recognize that they don't have the capacity to give you that love. But it doesn't take away the desire for that, the want for that either. It's like, I can understand that they're not in a place where they can give me love, and I appreciate that. And I'm not asking for anything in return to what I give, but also being in that position time after time. Time after time. Right. It's like you've been in that position so much. And now it's like, where do I actually put my love? You know, I'm supposed to be receiving, but I'm not seeing that. I'm not receiving anything back. And that's what Source is trying to balance for you right now. It's just a process, right? It does happen, but it's a slow process. But asking yourself this question is good. And asking this question in general to Source is good because it's showing that you're really considering protecting yourself and taking care of yourself even when hardships befall people that you have cared deeply for. You cannot be the pillar upon which they stand. Even though they expect you to be, it's that very expectation which is going to let them down, because you have been the person who has gotten hurt in the end of a lot of giving of yourself. So a lot of people just really think that you're meant to be this person who gives and gives and gives and never needs anything. And that's such a selfish way of viewing you as a human, because you also experience the hardships of life, but there are very, very few, if anybody, who actually knows and understands the things that you yourself have experienced in this physical realm. I'm going to read this from the book, see what furthermore we can get from it. You don't truly understand others' motivations if you haven't lived their lives, seen the world through their eyes. It's so easy to judge another's behavior matched up against your own and label it as right or wrong. But you're missing an important part of the equation, the other person's history and personal path. We are all sparks of the divine, with a purpose here in the physical dimension, and we can all exert our free will. Some of us have lost our way along the path to love, and it is a human reaction to judge others before examining their journey through their eyes and with compassion. Your job is not to judge, your job is to love and understand. And I don't feel like this is saying that you're the one that's judging. I actually feel like that's them, the other people who've received your love are the ones that are judging, and that's why you're so misunderstood, is because they really believe that you don't need assistance, as if you've got all of life figured out and you've got it all together, which in some cases you may, but that doesn't give you an exemption from the pain that we experience in this dualistic realm and this contrast that is the world that we live in. All right. Okay, so for pile number 1, and today I just did gemstones. I'm not sure why, that was just what came through. So we do have this beautiful piece of amethyst for you to choose from for pile 1. Pile number 2, we have this beautiful piece of rose quartz. This is like cloudy rose quartz here for you to choose from. In pile number 3, we have this beautiful piece of lapis lazuli. So we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, and whichever pile you feel drawn to, that should be the pile for you. And with that, I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of amethyst, or if you're drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your reading on how are you misunderstood. First, I would love to say thank you to those of you that continue to be a supportive part of this journey with me. I'm honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And if you're new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. We do things completely differently around here. So with that in mind, if the messages do happen to resonate with you, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. So let's go ahead and hop to it and find out, how are you misunderstood, pile number 1? So source, how is pile number 1 misunderstood? What would you like to share with us today? How is pile number 1 misunderstood? Wow, okay, so we've got the 12th house, we've got Virgo energy, and we've got the North Node. This is interesting because I was hearing opposing energies. It's almost as if you're walking enigma or you're walking conundrum. People don't quite know how to take you at face value, because you're so profound and deep. You've got a lot going on for you. You've got a lot of things that you're working on. You've got a lot of things that you're healing. You've got a lot of things that you're building up about yourself, and none of them are streamlined, right? They're all maybe a little chaotic, but it works for you because you're able to organize it in a way that works best for you. But they might be like opposing topics. So maybe you're really studying deep religious history while at the same time studying, spirituality. It's like very opposing energies, and that doesn't have to be what it is, but that's the type of energy that it is. Like, you're so interested in being an artist, but you're learning all about strategy and finances. It just seems like they're very opposing types of energies here coming through. Now you're misunderstood. You're incredibly spiritual. You're very, very intuitive. You are psychic even. And you are capable of receiving tons of messages through nuanced energies and shifts in perception and how you're taking in the outside world. Like, you notice immediate shifts in people's moods that they themselves aren't even aware of. And that's something that people misunderstand. It's like they're seeing you as trying to manipulate them, or they're seeing you as trying to get one over on them, but it's just you're so aware of the situation around you. And that more than likely comes from a survival tactic as a child. And yes, I'm going to say tactic because you had to keep yourself safe. And keeping yourself safe meant reading a room, but deeper than surface level. And it became a skill that you poured into so much because it did allow you to keep yourself safe in many instances. And that's where empathy, being an empath, that's where being an empath comes from. It's survival techniques that you learn as a child to protect yourself from the extreme ups and downs and moods that people have gone throughout your childhood. And that has given you insight as to how people are in this day and age. And while you're healing and now you're not riding that emotional roller coaster any longer, you can't help but still rely on that part of your gift because it's so ingrained into who you are. And you might be asking people, or have asked people, like, right away, hey, are you okay? Like, I noticed something might be wrong. Would you like to talk about it? Or I noticed that you're feeling a little bit off today. Is there anything I can help with? And people they get almost, it's a frustrating energy, but it's not you. It's not you. It's frustrating. But it's also intimidating because they themselves haven't quite figured out what it is that they're going through, what it is that they're experiencing. And it's just because you're so perceptive of the world around you. It's almost like if someone goes from being extremely happy to suddenly being sad because of a memory that's played in their mind that they're completely unaware of, but it's just something that happens, as the thoughts that run through their mind. You're going to pick that up, and it's going to be very palpable to you. And you have used this to step out into your purpose, whatever that is. Okay, whether you're in business, owning your own business, whether you're doing something that's spiritual, whether you're doing something that is for the community, whether I just heard police officer, law, social worker. So, it could be anything. You could be working in a business or in an office. So again, whatever it is that you're doing, you're walking your path of purpose because you're being true to yourself. And that's what people misunderstand. They believe that it's some sort of ploy to get one over on them, to pull the wool over their eyes. And so you might notice that a lot of people are very standoffish when you come around. But it's just because they're coming from a place of fear, and while it seems very personal, it's not, because they're coming from their own past situations, things that have yet to change for them, things that have yet to be transformed, right? They've had very difficult situations of being caged in and being hurt by people who they thought were going to care and love them, and instead they were used and abused. And that anxiety is overrunning the way that they show up when it comes to you. And as you heal, you may notice this happening more and more, not because you deserve that. Oh, my candle went out. I'll have to replace that in just a second. Not because you deserve that, but because the higher vibrational you get, the more this gift is viewable to others, but they're not noticing it as a gift. It's just you being in this energy that they don't understand. Okay, thank you. How's pile number 1 misunderstood? How's pile number 1 misunderstood? This is really interesting. All of a sudden, I got a very sharp pain on my left eyebrow, right above my left eye. It's a very sharp pain. It feels almost like migraine-y. It's very sharp. It's like I feel like even laying down would not make this feel better. And like if someone's pushing in a nail into a pressure point. Yeah, so it's like you're touching on sensitive topics. They're trying to wear their mask with pride, and they're trying to wear their mask so that no one can see the vulnerabilities beneath. But you notice the mask, but the mask isn't going to keep you from seeing what's beneath the surface. Whereas it does that for most other people. And so you're touching on a very sensitive situation. Yeah. People don't want you to know their burdens and their responsibilities, but you can't help it. It's a part of you just being able to see someone for who they are, and they don't feel like you're real. Excuse my torch real quick. How could someone like you actually exist? Sagittarius energy. You could have Sagittarius highly aspect in your chart, or have very benefic Jupiter placements in your chart as well. You could also have really benefic Neptune and Pluto placements in your chart, which is coming through. So a lot of people would like to stay in denial. Yeah, this is your strength. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, you're always able to see people for who they are. This is very interesting. And it's like you're recognizing that they're in a state of self-sabotage. And maybe at some points on your journey, I don't feel like you do this much anymore, but there have been points on your journey where you've offered advice from a very compassionate place. Like, hey, I get it. Life is hard, but you know, you could always try and do something like this or something like that. And people have really felt like, stop telling me what to do. Like, it's not your place to tell me what my life is. And for you, it was always kind of shocking because what the heck? I'm just trying to offer advice, just like a good friend would do. But they're taking it as a personal play, or they're taking it as like a personal jab at them, because when they give their opinion, they expect people to follow it because they feel like, oh, I'm giving you my opinion matters more than anything else in the world. And so they're very much projecting onto you. And for you, it's like, I'm giving you this advice, so take it or leave it. But it's because you're not forcing them to take it that they're feeling this way about it. You're offering new beginnings. Everywhere you go, you offer a new beginning. And you're misunderstood because this is one of your greatest strengths. You've tamed the lion, right? You've tamed the lion here. You've tamed that part of yourself that takes you on that crazy roller coaster ride. And you found a way to begin to travel beyond self-sabotage and beyond hurting ourselves. Because at the end of the day, really, the only person we hurt, even when we're projecting, the only person we hurt is ourselves. It doesn't mean that we don't hurt other people in the process, but really we hurt ourselves the most because we could lose potential friends, we could lose potential connections. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit here. We put ourselves in very precarious situations, and we're not recognizing that there's another party that's involved. And so I feel like here it's they're not realizing that you're a person that has feelings too, and how deeply you love. So everybody's saying like, oh, you're just telling me what I should do because you're arrogant or because you're entitled. And that's not at all what it is. You've never come from a place of arrogance or entitlement. You've always come from this place of love. And that love is what hurts the most, because you want people to find their own path. You want people to find their own way. You want people to see clearly how to best navigate the hard situations. But you can only help those who want to help themselves. And I feel like that's been a really hard lesson for you to learn, Pile 1, is only knowing how to go forward with people who want to help themselves. Because too many people here wanting to stand in their own way, and in turn make you feel like it was always your fault, which it wasn't. It was never your fault. Right? Their problems are their problems, and you coming forth with love and trying to help assist them along the journey, that's true compassion. But they're not seeing it as compassion because they themselves would not be moved in that way. They are always moved by expectation, hurt, blame, and fear. Yeah, it's your spirituality. Look, we've got Neptune. Again, Neptune and Jupiter energy coming through here with the 9th house. But we have dream and transcend and spiritual growth. You're often misunderstood because you're receiving messages from the ethers at all times. Like it's not just when you sit down and meditate. It's not just when you sit down and pray. This is constant connection. And part of that is played off of that skill that you've learned from being a child and having to protect yourself by reading nuanced energies. They've often used that as a way to connect with you as well, the spiritual realm. And you're often misunderstood that you're spiritual, and people aren't seeing it as spiritual. They're seeing it maybe as fake, maybe as, oh, well, I'm not that way, so how can that be something that actually exists? A lot of people are skeptical, especially if you're psychic and you've told people that you're psychic. There's so many people that they're skeptical just for the sake of being skeptical, right? Okay, this card is stuck on my finger. I feel like it wants to be seen, so we'll flip it over here. Yeah, time to collaborate. Ants. Interesting. Here's the thing. Like, you're gonna meet the people who are meant to work with you. Right? You've been busy building something. And through that, you've only gained even deeper understanding and experience through the journey. An understanding of who you are, what your gift entails, and it's forever evolving. But there's a lot of people here that misunderstand you and think that that is you being hoity-toity or like you're better than them because you can perceive more than they can. But it's more than just perception. There's a lot of spiritual feeling that's coming in here. There's a lot of intuitive nudges that happen, and even insight through your third eye. You're given visions, or you're given downloads that help you navigate your day-to-day. Look at this. Truth transcends illusion. Exactly. So they're thinking that you're delusional, but the truth is that they're the ones that are delusional. And I can't make that up. We've got the butterfly spirit underneath that, with transformation is beautiful. So we have 11 and 22 coming out here. So we have pile 1, we have 1111, 111, we have 22, we have 11. Yeah, so 1, having faith. Like, your faith is what makes you so misunderstood. People don't understand how you can stand so strong in your faith. And faith is not something that they can teach in a building. Faith is something that we have to discover on our own. We have to test our faith, right? And I'll never forget this. Growing up, my mom always said, in order to have faith, you have to constantly question the things around you. And I'm so glad that she always told me that, because when I was little, I was very Christian, and then I shifted to not believing in anything, and then I shifted into spirituality. And through all those times, the only thing I could do was question, but those transitions have helped me understand what real faith is to stand in the knowing, but it's not even a knowing, it's an inner standing that we have that no matter what, the divine is going to show up for us. Even if it's not how we want them to show up, they will always show up for us in the way that we need them to. And sometimes having that solid of a faith, and I feel like that's where you're at, Pile 1, is having that kind of faith in the process and in the journey. But having that solid of a faith, it scares people because they themselves are struggling to believe. And especially if there's been any type of religious people who have attacked you, it scares them as well because they're supposed to be the faithful, right? But oftentimes I've run into so many religious people that are faithless, and they're scared by people who are so grounded in their own belief and knowing what's right for them. And that's what it feels like, how you're misunderstood. It's like you're not out here trying to alter anybody's beliefs. You're not out here trying to make people choose a different thing. You're really just out here trying to be this embodiment of love and continuing to trust and own your own faith, right? And especially with the 12th house coming out here, it does feel like there's a sense of where, and it could be anything, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be religious. It could just be people who are non-believers. You know, you have people who are atheists that are attacking you. You could have people, that's what it feels like. There's attacks here that have been made against your belief, and they're misunderstanding you. They're like, oh, you're just trying to get me to believe whatever you're believing, but that's not the case at all. We have superfoods. Naturally fight diseases by eating superfoods. Yeah, you're like food for the soul is what I'm getting from this. That's interesting. And we have the environment, 44. Help our planet. We have beautiful plants and native animals. Okay, so this is more giving me like maybe you're a Wiccan or you're practicing witch or warlock, and so you're not really into the religion thing. And it again, take it as it resonates, right? So like if this doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. This is just for someone else. Where we have this energy where it's coming through, where you're believing what you believe in because you've seen the magic of it, right? Maybe you've done spells for health, or you've done worked with herbs to gain a sense of I just lost what I was gonna say. That's interesting. Yeah, you make people speechless. Okay. To gain a better sense of well-being is what I was trying to say. And maybe you've started growing an herb garden, and your herb garden has been growing like crazy, and you're like, what the heck? Like, it's all full of love, and it's because you poured into something that's now giving back, right? Confucius, rethink what you are planning to do. Is it really a good idea? And you've had to heal like this right here. Are you sure? This is the question I feel like you've had to ask other people. Are you sure? Are you sure? Is that really what you think, right? We have the third wave ascension. The third wave children are the hope of the world, right? So you're this big light of hope, but there's people here where it's like you've had to ask, are you sure that how you feel about me is the truth? But when people are so rooted in their ego, and right now I'm getting so confused and it's not because I don't understand the energy that's coming in. I feel like I'm getting so confused because this is how people misunderstand you. It's confusing. They've confused themselves, trying to convince themselves that you're someone that you're not. And so they're confusing themselves because you don't actually fit into that, right? You're this abundant spirit. You're this abundant person. But they're taking it as like you owe them something just because you give this love. Then they get confused when you don't give to them because they have shown that they're not worthy of your energy. They're like, well, what the heck? You know, like, where are you? But see, look, you're cleansing yourself. And so, yeah, you're misunderstood because you give. You're a giver. You are naturally a giver. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if as a child, if you shared with your siblings or you shared with your parents all the time, like you just naturally like had ice cream and you're like, hey, you want a bite? Hey, you want some? Are you sure you want some? You don't want some? You know, like I feel like you were that person and you always share. And it hasn't changed, right? Like, you've gained all this knowledge and you share that knowledge. But it's like people here thinking that you're the one that's misguided or that you're the one that's misled, right? And that's their misunderstanding, is that for once, there is no being misled here. There's simply fear that's being met with love, and fear not knowing how to act. Yeah, you're incredibly confident. You could have Leo highly aspect in your chart too. We have self-confident, loyalty, and creativity. And I feel like one thing that you expect, and there's nothing wrong with expecting this, is loyalty from those in your life, but you've not received that. And that's caused you to have to say goodbye. Wow, time to let go. Yeah, exactly what I was saying. Like, you learned that loyalty is rare, and that has kind of paved the way for you on how you show up for people. Gambling, how good a poker player are you? There's a lot of people who take bets that you're going to be the one that shows up. This energy, it's just they expect you to be the one that's always going to be the person who shows up. And it is a gamble, because eventually enough is enough. Choose to be here. Surrender to where you are now, and your life will miraculously turn out the way you want. And this is what I feel like, is that you've had to let go, right? Choose to surrender. That's letting go. Coming to this now moment, realizing, like, it's not my job to heal everybody else. It's not my job to be there to fix everybody else. You could be the fixer. Psychics. Some people are very gifted. They can see into the future. So this is confirmation to what I was feeling. You're very gifted. You are incredibly gifted. And part of that comes, okay, I want, like, when I was saying, like, part of this is a talent that, or a skill that you have developed from childhood, but that very skill that you've developed from childhood is the very skill that your psychic ability leans on to communicate with you in many different ways, because it's the one that you're the most tapped into. And this is giving you an access point to your psychic abilities. There's a lot of people here that are frightened by your ability to understand, know, and see them for who they are without them saying anything. Loneliness. Oh my gosh, I know that I am never alone. You know, how are you misunderstood? You're very alone. You walked this journey alone. I feel like you found out so much about yourself alone, and how people misunderstand you is that they think that you're surrounded by tons of people who love you and support you. And while you might have a supportive group of people, I don't feel like they're around you. I guess could be you could have people who support you at work, or it's very shallow support, but they still want to see you do good. This is something that you've had to learn to walk the journey very, very alone, and recognize that people like you, Pile One, don't just pop up every which way, right? You're a very rare commodity in this world. And that's how people misunderstand you. I feel like people think that you're replaceable, but the truth is you're irreplaceable. Because you're not everybody is like you. You're one in a million. It says this card has come to you because you must be reminded that there's a difference between being lonely and being alone. Feelings of loneliness originate from a sense of not appreciating the most important person in your life, you. If solitude seems like an affliction, you need to work on creating a healthy relationship with yourself. Only then will you attract others who will nurture your soul. If you don't develop a healthy relationship with yourself first, you will only draw unhealthy relationships to you. To create a healthy, positive relationship with yourself, you must begin to feel worthy of love. The pessimism of physical dimension can affect your self-esteem. If you don't have the strong conviction that you are valuable and meaningful, don't view solitude as a weakness. It is merely your soul telling you that it is time to do some inner work and reevaluate your path before you start to shine. As you sit in the silence of your soul, you will realize that your spirit family, teachers, and guides are with you. You are never alone. And I feel like how you're misunderstood as well is that people they're like, oh, well, they've always, maybe that's not it. You're surrounded by people. Maybe they're like, oh, they've always been a solitude person. Like, they've always been in solitude. They don't need anybody. And they could feel like that, right? That you don't need anybody, but that's not the truth at all. And I feel like with this time to collaborate energies that you are gearing up to invite in your psychic family. And your psychic family, I said, I feel like that should be trolls. Wow. You know, I'm going to get there. This reading, pile one, the energy is so strong. You're going to be gearing up for your soul family, but maybe that's what they are, is a psychic family. Maybe that's what they are, since it came out and it was so strong as it came out. And the only people that are really going to truly see the value that you have to offer are the people where they too know what it is to be alone on the journey. And it's not that other people aren't going to see your value or notice that value. In fact, I feel like the more you pull away, the more they're going to see your value. But I feel like there's a lot of energy here where people are taking you for granted and just assuming that you'll always be that pillar they can lean on. And that's not you. And that never was meant to be you. And so that's how you're misunderstood a lot in this journey. So this is what I see for you here, pile one. Is there a pillar, like a column emoji? If there's a column emoji, leave that down below and say, I'm not the pillar upon which the world needs to stand on. I am a person who needs to be seen, or no, who deserves to be seen as I am in this moment. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, please check out the description box. It will have everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading and to join as a member here on the channel. A special thank you to those of you that continue to support the channel further and be a part of this amazing tribe. With that, I would like to take a second to thank your spirit guides, your messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming through to give us this very powerful message. And until next time, pile number one, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful rose quartz, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your reading on how are you misunderstood. I would like to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey with me. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And if you're new here, welcome. This is a reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. We do things completely differently here on this channel, so with that in mind, if the messages happen to resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. So with that, let's hop to it and find out, how do people misunderstand you? Pile number two. So source, how do people misunderstand pile number two? What would you like to share with us today? How do people misunderstand pile number two? What messages would you like to bring forth? The 10th house, we have Taurus energy and Neptune. You are working on something that people cannot see the vision. They just can't. And this is something that is misunderstood because they're believing that it's not worth your time. You're never going to get anywhere with it. It's not going to amount to anything. But you're very disciplined when it comes to this, and you are putting forth a lot of effort. I also feel like there is a sense of stability and fulfillment that's coming from this, whatever it is you're putting your time and energy and effort towards. And there's a lot of people here who misunderstand that this has the potential to be far more stable and financially stable than whatever it is that they're doing, right? So this feels like people who work a 9-to-5, and you might be building a hobby. Okay, you could own your own business, or you're wanting one day for your hobby to become a business, right? Whatever it is, there's something here though that you're doing that's earning some kind of income, whether that's little income or a lot of income. And of course, it's nobody's business how much it's making. But the thing is here is that why you're misunderstood is because these people who know what it is that you're putting your time towards, they're bringing their own suspicions and superstitions and doubts and fears into judging what it is that you're doing with your time, your energies, and your efforts. And what Source is saying here is that this has the potential to be much bigger than even you are aware of. Okay, so whatever that is. And it doesn't necessarily have to be financial abundance, but I do get financial abundance with Taurus and the 10th house energy together here. But it could be stability in general, just stability in life, stability in your beliefs, in your faith, in your spirituality, stability in yourself, right? So there's something here that you've been doing for yourself. And that's what it really feels like. Even though we've got 10th house energy here, this is something you've done for yourself. Right? Maybe you're going back to school. Maybe you're trying to get a higher degree. Maybe you're shifting careers. Okay, like, so whatever it is here, this is something you're doing. This is a very self-driven thing that you have done, and people are misunderstanding you because of it. Like, they are brought their own doubts into the lineup here, and there's no space for their doubts because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how they feel about what it is that you're doing. This is your life and it's your choice and you get to do it. That's what's, you know, it's kind of that energy. It's like, well, you can feel all the upset energy that you want to feel, or you can be angry about it, all that you want to be angry about it. But the truth is, at the end of the day, this is my decision. We've got the Strength in reverse and the 10 of coins here. Yeah, this is something that's incredibly fulfilling. And I feel like there's going to be a point where you're not going to be able to hide just the amount of stability that this is bringing into your life. And people are going to say, oh, that's not fair. It's not fair that pile number 2 is getting that. But what's fair? You did it. You're the one who put forth the effort. And so they're misunderstanding just how much effort is required to do this. So you're misunderstood because people think you might be lazy, or they might think that you're not putting in, you know, any extra work, or that this is just something that comes easy to you. And that's all the misunderstandings coming through. How's pile number 2 misunderstood, Source? What would you like to share with us? Yeah, it's a lot of superficial energy that's coming in. Wow, my left ear is ringing. So if you're a woman, that means that there's a lot of financial windfall coming in for you. Okay, if you're a man, it means that there's a lot of gossip that's happening about you. Okay, I know, like, why is it good luck for men or for women and not men? It's just, if it was my right ear, it would have been the opposite. So it was my left ear was ringing a very high-pitched ring, and that was the message. They're showing for women, especially right now, this is an alignment of the divine feminine. And if you're a man and you identify with the divine feminine, that is also good luck for you as well. Please don't try to say like, oh, I'm a divine feminine for this reading only. You know, like, no, this is really for those more feminine type of energies coming in. And for the masculines, there's just a lot of gossip that's happening that shouldn't be happening around you. But they're misunderstanding this is something that you want to do for yourself. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to get a lot of windfall coming in. It just means that they want you to be aware that there are people who are saying very nasty things about you behind your back, okay? And we're not here to find out what that is today. That's just, it's forewarning. That's all it is saying, hey, just so you know, this is what's happening. Don't let it deter you because you're on the right path. How's pile number 2 misunderstood, Source? Whoa, thank you. Yeah, I do feel like there's a sudden shift that's happening. Like this shift, I feel it in my solar plexus. Like my solar plexus is aching right now, but not in a bad way. It's like as if I just did like sit-ups and held plank for a while. You know, like when your abs are tired, like my solar plexus is that. It's like tired and achy, like an achy muscle. I've worked really hard and now I'm feeling it heal from that. But also that's where the benefit is the ache, right? That's how you know you worked it out. And it's odd because I don't actually get pains from working out anymore. Like it's been a long time since I've had workout pains. And so, but that's exactly what this feels like right now. And I didn't do a vigorous yoga practice this morning. Today was actually a yin yoga day for me. So very gentle yoga practice, but for long holds, right? So what does that have to do with anything? It's just showing that, you know, it's this interesting energy where it's almost the more you are trusting in the process, right? Trusting that less is more. That's how things are really starting to pan out for you. And people don't see it as less or as more. People misunderstand you because they really believe that you personally, Pile 2, need to work extra hard to receive what it is that you're getting. But, wow, excuse me, but somehow you're not. Problems with authority. You could have an authoritative position in your job as well. And there's a lot of people who misunderstand you, thinking that you're dizzy on a brick or that you just want to rule over them or lord over them. Or even with this, having success in this endeavor, is that you just want to rub this in their faces and be like, ha ha, I did it, you jerks. Like, get out of Dodge with that. But I don't feel that energy at all from you. And that's something they misunderstand, is like, you're doing this for yourself. There is no reason to rub this in anywhere because the only person that you're trying to prove it to is yourself. You're not trying to prove it to Uncle Joe. You're not trying to prove it to Uncle Sam. You're not trying to prove it to your sister, your brother, your moms, your dads, right? Like, you're not trying to prove it to anybody except for yourself that I can do this. But there's a lot of people here in your energy that are saying, oh, well, they're just doing it so that they can rub it in our faces when they become successful. So they're already thinking that you're going to become successful, even though they're shouting out their fears on you. This energy. I need a drink of water. We need to come back down because these people are like projecting onto you their fears, but they also know that you're capable of creating what it is that you're doing. Like, it's basically behind closed doors, like, well, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Pile 2, but Pile 2 doesn't deserve it. Whatever. You know, they don't understand just how perseverant you are. They believe that you're getting lost. And yeah, you're getting involved in lost causes with the Star coming out in the reverse and the Hermit. See, you're also misunderstood because you've looked at all the angles of this situation. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if this is not your first attempt. For many of you, this is probably like your upteenth attempt at doing this. Right? If at first you don't succeed, try again. And you've done that. You've continued to try again. You've learned from those times that didn't pan out. You've learned from those times that left you broken and bruised and battered. But they gave you such wisdom. Like, every time you failed, right? Because failure really isn't failure. Failure is experience. But it's like every time you failed, you gained valuable experience, and you use that experience to move forward. It's just like everything that you've done before is how you're developing this here now situation. And that's something that people misunderstand. And so they might be seeing overnight success, but for you, you're recognizing years and years and years of hard work. This is not something that just happened overnight. This is something that took a lot of effort. This is something that took a lot of dedication, a lot of time with the 10th house, and especially with Taurus energy here. It's like if it was Capricorn, Capricorns are all about the goal, but not the reward of the goal. And that's something I love about Capricorn, because they set the goal just for the sake of having a goal. Taurus sets the goal because they want to prove that they can do it. And it's not about everyone else. Like, Taurus is very much this, I call them the stability of the zodiac, because they are. They're these pillars of strength. And, you know, if you're not Taurus, you're like, well, geez, what about me? But, You know, sorry. I think every zodiac sign has a true gift that they give all the other zodiac signs, but I really feel like, you know, this is Capricorn energy with the 10th house. It's also Saturn energy, so there's been a lot of twists and turns and a lot of ups and downs and hardships that you've had to go through, but you set the goal and you just want to prove it to yourself. This is saying like, I'm going to be so stubborn when it comes to this. I just want to see if I can. And there's no part of you that's willing to give up, because there's this feeling that if I were to give up now and I stopped 3 feet shy of my goal, I'm going to spend the rest of my life wondering what if. I would rather give it my all right now until I can't possibly give it anything else, and I'm still going to give. And I'm going to know that when I walk away, if I ever have to walk away because it's not successful, like I will not have any regrets. But that's people misunderstanding you. They're thinking you're just getting involved in a lost cause because you're picturing something. It's like, oh, they just want a whole bunch of money and they think that's going to get them all this money. They think that's going to give them a rich lifestyle, a lavish lifestyle. But that's not what it was. That's never what it was. It's something that you're passionate about. It's something you really admire and love to do. And it's never been, I mean, the riches are just a byproduct of that, right? Yeah, there's a lot of cold things being said about how committed you are to this. There's a lot of really nasty things being said, and even, you know, just in general, pile two, there's been a lot of nasty things. I feel like people have been saying this to your face even, and if not to your face, they're spreading rumors about you, the gossip and the rumors. And so there's a lot of people that you may not even know personally who have judged you right off the bat when you have met them, because your family or people you know have spread rumors and lies about you. And people are misunderstanding you who have never even known you based on these things that people who think they know you are saying. But I do feel like very quickly the people who are of sound mind realize that you're not at all like the rumors. They recognize like, whoa, pile two is actually an incredibly hard worker. They do a lot. Like I couldn't even imagine having to do the things that they do. And so it's like, even though all that stuff is going on in the background, like even though there's all this noise, I don't feel like it matters to you, but there's people here who feel like, oh, if I say enough, then pile two is going to give up the pursuit, right? Again, with Taurus energy here. You're the one that's being represented by Taurus energy. You set the goal for the sheer stubbornness of accomplishing the goal, and you're going to do it. And that's what people misunderstand all the time. They really believe, oh, the first time I fail, that means it's not for me. For you, you're like, cool, I gained some really good experience from that, and I know what not to do. So now let me try it this way. Okay, so I gained some really good experience from that. I know what else not to do, and I also know that this works. So I'm going to use that to my advantage and try this over here. But most people don't look at it that way. Most people, they fall one time and that's it. That's it. It's not for me. I'm not going to do this anymore. I shouldn't have even started to begin with, because obviously, but you've learned that the only way to succeed is by being stubborn, and you're doing that. And so other people look at it as you being arrogant and uneducated about how life really works, and that's not the truth. House 11, friends, like-minded groups, and humanitarian beliefs. And I do feel like you're going to start connecting with people here, but also this could be something that you connect with over the distance is what is coming through here. It's like you're going to be connecting with people long distance that are going to see the value of what you have to offer. This is not people who are close to you, people who can meet you face to face. Yeah, we have opposition, imbalance, a power point of tension, and a power struggle, right? A power struggle, problem with authority. You know, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be pile number two. But we don't want pile number two to do it, because if pile number two does it, then everything that we've said bad about pile number two, we look like the idiots here. Well, you know, Grandma said it best. If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. But not everybody follows that. Wow. Wow. This card is the generational card, right? So you have great grandma grandma, mom, and daughter here. It says inner integration. There is peace, equilibrium, and fulfillment in integrating the inner wild with the taming and the tempering effect life has on us. And that's exactly what you're doing, and being super honest with yourself. Like, that's the thing. You're integrating lessons and wisdom from past generations while also learning on your own. And that radical honesty that you give to yourself, it helps you to pivot when necessary. That very thing is what leaves people wondering how it is that you've been able to get so far in your journey. And they misunderstand that all the time. Expectation came out. We have love or other happiness lurks just around the corner, and it will be something much better than in your wildest dreams, right? What did it say here on the inner integration? Fulfillment in integrating the inner wild and the wildest dreams. So here's the thing, pile 2. Let me finish this. A rare opportunity, an exciting encounter with like-minded people will exceed your expectation. Yeah, there's going to be a sudden surge in people coming to you because you've healed so much, and people seeing what it is that you're offering. They recognize it right off the bat. They recognize the power in it. This is something that's going to be beyond your wildest dreams, your wildest expectations. It's wild. People are going to sit here in awe because they never expected that you were going to be able to create something like that. And this is how they misunderstood you, right? You didn't set the goal for them. You set the goal for you. But everyone else and their mom is setting goals and expectations for other people out here. And so for you to be so authentic to do this for yourself, that's why you were never swayed. That's why no one could sway you, no matter what they said behind closed doors, no matter how they said it to your face. Make a change. There's some truth you're resistant to accept over and over again until until you're tired and restrained beyond depression. It takes a decision to live life for yourself. Life is all about passion. Then you make a change and the world around you follows. This is exactly what I was saying. You're very passionate about this. You're the one that chose to do this. It was like, this is for me. Maybe when it started, it was for other people too. Because there's something about helping other people or being able to gift something to other people. I feel like what happened through that, though, is that part of your wisdom that came from this is, who am I really doing this for? And you decided to be quote unquote selfish here, because it's not selfish, but it seems selfish. And you did it for yourself. And doing it for yourself gave you a whole new perspective on how to show up when it came to putting forth energy and effort into this. People misunderstand that. And maybe people misunderstand you and saying, oh no, they're just selfish. Oh no, they don't know what's best for them, or this, that, and the other. But the truth is you had to choose yourself. Because if you didn't choose yourself, who else was going to? We've got self-love as an angel number coming out. Prioritize your well-being and cultivate a deep sense of love and compassion for yourself. I'm sure still feeling the shadow of Mercury retrograde. We're almost through it. But wow, hang with me, please. And on the bottom, reassurance, 747, trust your intuition and make practical decisions that align with your higher purpose. Your guardian angels are acknowledging your efforts. Also, 747, is that not an airplane? I believe it is. You're soaring high above everyone else. You're leaving them in the dust because you chose self-love. This is a part of your self-love. Acknowledging what it is that you want and going towards it. Eternity, immortality, frozen, infinity, and curse. You're healing generational curses, and you're gonna live in infamy, right? Like, you're gonna make an impact for much longer than your life is here. And many of you aren't looking for fame and recognition in that sense, and it might not even be that. This could be leaving an impact on generations in front of you. That's infamy still. That's leaving a legacy, right? And that's what this feels like. So let's see what else comes through here. Okay, these two want to come out. On the bottom, gratitude. appreciate, thank you, and cherish. And I feel like you're very grateful for what's happening in life and where you're at. And a lot of people misunderstand that too, right? They misunderstand you being grateful. They feel like, oh, you're just saying the words, you're just going through the motions, but it's not. You're actually very grateful from your heart. So it's like if someone does something for you, you say thank you. It's not just a filler word like it is for many people. It really means something for you. Venus. Give and receive love. Find value and see beauty. And that's what you've done with your journey. You see the value in everything. Every misstep, every right step, every hurtful word, every loving word, every person that cheers you on, every person that wants to see you fail. Like, it's not even a personal plight anymore. It's not even like I'm taking it, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did this to me. You see value in it all. You let people be who they are, and it's almost like gratitude towards them too. Like, hey, thanks for being that way and showing me your true colors so that I can move on. Thank you. Yeah, Saturn. I'm not surprised. Feeling restricted, experiencing struggle, learn hard work and patience. This is a definition of hard work. People are misunderstanding this. You're misunderstood because of how hard you're working. People don't see hard work coming from you, but that doesn't mean that you're not working hard. There's this underlying belief when it comes to you and what you're putting forth that you're just somehow manifesting it without effort. And yet, if people actually were to try to do what you do in a day, I feel there's very few people who could keep up with you. Guardian angels. The problems you have today will eventually disappear. Your guardian angels encourage you to maintain a positive outlook on life, since your luck may be about to change. It's time to put to use your captivating energy and inspirational personality. Excuse me. Wow, that just came out of nowhere. Don't let your ego get the best of you. Yeah, you're trusting the process. You trust in your guardian angels. You trust in your spirit guides. You trust in being led where you're being led. Seagull. Cunning, perseverance. Yeah, you're very perseverant. Fearlessness, survival, and freedom. You've learned through very hard lessons. You know, it's like once you've experienced hurt and pain in life, not following your dreams, it's like better to experience hurt and pain while following your dreams, because you know you're doing something that is aligned with you. Love, appreciation, fondness, respect, and trust. Yeah, this is something you love. And I also feel like you're calling in people who love and appreciate and cherish you. And we have strength of vulnerability. The power, true power lies at the root of a perceived weakness. So you're very vulnerable with people. When they want to see you, you're very open, you're very vulnerable. I feel like you share with others exactly what you do on this journey and the challenges that you face, but there's a lot of people here who don't want to believe it, right? You could tell people until you're blue in the face, but if they don't want to believe it or they don't want to hear it, they're not going to hear it. So let's see what your card is. I'm going to read this from the book. Change. So much change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. Did I not say at the beginning of your reading that there feels like there's a huge shift about to happen in your life when my ear was ringing? I'm almost 100% sure that came out. Almost 100% sure. Like, I'm going to say 98.9% sure that came out, okay? I remember. There's a certain comfort in the idea of living a life without surprises. The status quo has an appeal, but you will never learn or grow if your circumstances stay the same. Everybody wants life to be better, but that requires change. You've chosen to incarnate in this physical dimension called Earth because of the myriad of opportunities. If you don't take advantage of them, what's the point? Staying within your comfort zone is overrated. With change comes transformation, and with transformation comes evolution. Stop viewing change as good or bad, because all change nourishes your soul. That's why I'm saying, like, you see value in everything. So that's something that people misunderstand. Stop viewing change. Okay, don't equate it with a lack of control. Life happens and it's supposed to happen. You can direct how it plays out, and you can always have the power to accept a change that redirects your path. So how are you misunderstood is that you accept change, and that's something that people often feel is like, oh, that means that you're brave, or you were given some innate ability to do this. No, you just chose to stand up and face it. So they're misunderstanding the fact that your courage doesn't mean a lack of fear. Your courage is there because of fear and choosing to face that fear. And there's a lot of people who really believe that you were just given some gift to step into this life easily and effortlessly. And in reality, we see that it's something that's taken a lot of hard work, a lot of struggle, a lot of determination. But favor, what is it? Abundance favors the brave. And that's the thing here. I feel like you're about to receive a whole bunch of abundance on your journey. And a lot of people are going to misunderstand and feel like that came to you overnight. And it wasn't. It came from years of dedication and hard work. So keep up the good work. You're doing an amazing job here. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the little owl emoji down below and say, through change, struggle, hard work, perseverance, I have learned how to take that experience and use it to better myself. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, please check out the description box. It will have everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member here. With that, I would like to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very powerful message. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of lapis lazuli, or if you were drawn to this card during this shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on how are you misunderstood. I would like to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey here. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And if you're new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. Should this message happen to resonate with you, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And with that being said, we do things completely differently here, but let's go ahead and hop to it and find out how is pile number 3 misunderstood, source. How is pile number 3 misunderstood? What would you like to share with us today, source? How is pile number 3 misunderstood? Okay, so we have the 11th house, we have Virgo energy, and we have the South Node. You're misunderstood because you have stepped away from being the person you once were. Mr. or Mrs. Reliable. It's not that you're not reliable. It's not. These are people who are taking advantage of you. You stepped away from it. You stepped away from being the go-to person. You stepped away from always being the one to fix everything. You stepped away from being the one that they could call at 3 o'clock in the morning because you were the only one that was home. And you're misunderstood now because now you're getting your life on track for you, but you're also getting your life on track and connecting with more like-minded individuals, people who see the world the way that you do and recognize that you're not here for everyone to take advantage of. You're not a doormat, pile 3. You never have been a doormat, but I do feel like a part of your life you were living in that doormat energy where it's just people pleasing, right? Like letting people take advantage of you. And now that you don't let people take advantage of you, there's a lot of people you've left really confused, and they misunderstand you protecting yourself as you being a jerk. And you know what? Let them. If that's what that's all they cared about, is that they're not getting something from you, or they're not receiving what they used to from you, and they think you're a jerk now because you're not there for them, let them. Let them, because they're not willing to look at the part that they played in the situation as well. And sometimes that's so hard for us, right? It's like if you only just stop and looked at what you played in our relationship or in our connection, then maybe things would turn out differently. But they can't. They literally are in that place of blame. There's only one other person to blame, because they don't want to blame themselves. No one likes to blame themselves, right? 3:33 on the clock, and your pile 3. Your angels, your guides, your ancestors, everybody in your spiritual team has helped lead you back into this place of awareness for yourself. And now your biggest concern is taking care of you. And I'm actually really proud of my collective, because this is a main concern for the whole collective. It's been the underlying energy for the whole reading. And if you have decided to join me for all 3 readings, you're part of the Purple Heart Club. So leave a purple heart down below. I know what that means. And that really does mean a lot to me. And remember, you're never required to watch more than one reading. It's not an obligation. There are just some people who spend the whole reading with me, and I want them to be a part of that club. But if you're still here with me for pile 3, thank you. I do appreciate you and your time, your energy, and your effort. But I do feel like the thing is that people liked the past you, and now they're misunderstanding the new you. They don't know how to deal with you. People don't know how to talk to you anymore. They don't know how to approach you anymore. They don't know how to say anything. This is a feeling like, oh, well, if I say anything to pile 3, they're just going to bite my head off. But that's not the case at all. Because the thing is if you come at me with that old energy expecting me to roll over, yeah, I am going to stand up for myself, which you absolutely should. They're misunderstanding that now as you being someone that's a jerk. And you're not. It's just that you're not giving them the freedom to take advantage of you any longer. How is pile number 3 misunderstood, Source? What would you like to share with us further? Yeah, people do not want to face reality. And also, there's a lot of people here who don't want to face the fact that you have begun creating very stable allies in people who do actually have something to offer you, right? To give us equal give and take. Yeah, you've been very disappointed when it comes to love. How do people misunderstand pile number 3? How's pile number 3 misunderstood? Oh, okay. How's pile number 3 misunderstood? Oh, okay. Alright. On the bottom of the deck, yeah, wow, I am not shocked at all. This is the 10 of Swords, and under that we have the 8 of Swords, and the 6 of Coins in the upright. Okay, so let's stop here for the 6 of Coins in the upright. This is what I was saying. It's like you're now inviting in people who are equal give and take. Like you're not expecting anything from them. They're not expecting anything of you. And together you both are able to give more than you could have ever imagined. Because you're not trying to gain something from the other person. They're not trying to gain something from you. So you're really connecting with new people now. And if you haven't gotten there yet, that's something that's coming. And so there's going to be this sense of grounded energy where you're really grounded in who you are and knowing that I don't have to put up with this. There are people out here who see me and you don't see me. And I'm not going to sit here and continue to give to you because you are refusing to let go of the past me. That's not on me. That's on you. That there's a lot of fight here. There's a lot of fight. There might be a lot of arguments between you and another person. Arguments that have always been there, but arguments that this person or these people have always felt like they've won. I feel like, oh, if I argue with pile number 3 enough, or if I pressure pile number 3 enough, they're gonna give in. Right? But you felt so pressured for so long that now you bust out of that mental cage that you put yourself in, that I don't have a right to say something back because of insert reason here. Now it's like, I don't deserve to be treated this way. You always had a right to say something. There was never an excuse or a reason big enough to not to warrant you not standing up for yourself. That was just an illusion. And now we see here, it's like you're busting out of your cage and you're picking up your swords and you're fighting back when it's necessary. It's not about the fight, and it's not even about winning. This is about literally defending yourself. Like, you're the fighter. So, you know, and I think it's popular in martial arts. It's like where there's 2 fighters and there's one fighter that makes the other fighter fight themselves, basically, because they're on the defensive. So how do you defeat a fighter by being on defense? You let them wear themselves out. And that's exactly what happens here. And so these people misunderstand you because now it's like, oh, so they think that they have the right to treat me this way. Well, what's happening is that the way this person, I keep saying this person because it feels like one energy, but it could be a lot of people exhibiting a similar pattern of energy, right? So what they're mad about is that you're letting them fight themselves. So you're hitting them with logic. You're hitting them with, you know, they're trying to make it seem like it's your fault, you know, or you made them feel a certain way. And you're like, look, your emotions are your emotions. I have no power over that. It's not, you know, like, you might get triggered by something. Sure, that's understandable. But that's nowhere any reason for you to treat me the way that you've been treating me. And so they don't know what to say back to you. So instead of saying anything or even saying, you know, like trying to talk it out like adults are supposed to, I guess you should say, because it's just a rare thing that people actually talk things out. It seems like there's so much trauma. It prevents people from talking things out. Everybody takes everything so personally. And it's like, so these are not people who are talking things out with you. Rather, they're just staying quiet and letting it build up. And then when they get so built up, they totally word vomit on you. They totally scream out at you, and you have to stand up for yourself again, right? You have to defend yourself. And so they misunderstand you because they're not willing to look at their own actions. But now you're building friendships with other people that are give and take, and that's giving you even more confidence and courage to stand up for yourself in these lesser situations. Yeah, very negative. This could be someone in your energy. This could be a spouse. This could be a parent. This could be a child. This could be a coworker. This could be a boss that's in your energy. How are you misunderstood? They're disappointed because they're not receiving what they received from you before. They used to use their negativity as a guilt trip to guilt you into doing or being the way that they wanted you to be, or doing what they wanted you to do. That guilt trip is no longer working, and now this person is so full of anger. These people are so full of anger. Like, they're just, all that anger that they used to project out onto you, and you maybe at times willingly took that and transmuted it, even though it was never yours to carry. Or their emotions, however they were feeling it. I do feel like many of you absorbed those feelings at times. Then you're the one that had to transmute that, even though it was never yours to carry. And now that's not happening. You're literally drawing a line in the sand. Like, do not cross this line. However you feel, that belongs to you over there. Good luck. You know, I can't change that for you. I can't take that on for you. And it's not my job to take that on for you. And so they are misunderstanding you because they think that you're just using them. They think that you're making a lot of money and you're not sharing it with them. They're thinking that you're so far ahead in life and that you're just going to leave them behind. And maybe all of those things are true. I don't really feel like you're using them, but maybe you are leaving them behind. Maybe you do make more money than they do, or more money than you said. Who cares? All of these things seem very personal, that they're trying to learn personal information for their own gain. And they're misunderstanding the fact that you've set a boundary, and they're saying, oh, that's just pile 3 being a jerk. Be a jerk. I'm 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 pretty sure that's a song. Anyways. They're now feeling all that stuff. They're feeling the same thing they put you through. Disappointment in love. Brokenheartedness. I feel like so much of the time, being an empath, you might have been absorbing that, and it felt like your energy. These are people who, when you're in a good mood, they want you to be in a bad mood because misery loves company. But then the minute you're in a bad mood, they're in the best mood ever. I'm not saying they're narcissistic. I'm not here to give diagnosis. That's not what it is. Okay? There was a lot of monotony in the relationship, so a lot of repetition, where it was like that same pattern. When you were happy, they tried to bring you down, but when you were down, they were super happy and tried to rub it in your face. There's like a lot of this same thing. They never changed. They never wanted to give back into this relationship. And they're misunderstanding because now they're failing again and again to get you to get trapped in those emotional traps that they were setting, right? It's like the guilt trip. That's what I kept feeling, the guilt trip. They're mad and they're dissatisfied with the fact that now they have to deal with their own situation. They have to deal with what they're going through, and they don't like that. They don't like that you drew that line in the sand. You were the person who was always willing to take on their problems, and they didn't have to face them. You took care of it. That's not your job. And I don't care if you did this for 5 years. I don't care if you did this for 50 years. This person really believed that you were going to do this for the rest of your life. And they're very stubborn here, and they want to oppress you. Right? There's a lot of negativity here. They want to oppress you. They want you to feel small. They want you to feel hopeless, because when you feel hopeless, they feel like they're in power. And so they're misunderstanding your empowerment as empowerment. They're saying, oh no, that's just you being an arrogant jerk, which is actually, if we were to step back and look at the bigger picture, their projection. That's exactly where they're at. They've been an arrogant jerk to you this entire time. You ever just want to tell someone boo-hoo? Like, I'm all about love and compassion for everybody, but sometimes when we stand up for ourselves, like, it's okay for us to just be real about it. Like, this is one of those moments where it's like, I would just tell them boo-hoo. Boo-hoo for you. So it's okay for you to use me, but I can't stand up for myself because now you can't use me anymore? Go ahead. Go ahead with your bad self. Go on now. We have Pluto transform on the bottom. This is what they're misunderstanding. It's almost like they can't ever imagine that you would be like them, which you're not. Right? But now suddenly they're taking it as you being like they were, and they can't handle it, right? You can dish it, but you can't take it. That's what this feels like. That's what this feels like. And they're misunderstanding your transformation and evolution into boundaries and taking care of yourself as you being where they were or where they are. But, oh well. Trust the great mystery. Yeah, you're spiritually growing here. And you're trusting in that, in the depth of the journey, the profound effects that it's having on your being. And they're misunderstanding the spiritual journey for something else. right? They're in the darkness. Yes, we have moth on the bottom with surrender now. They're in the darkness. Yes, that's such a confirmation. Thank you, Source. Right? You're the light. You've always been the light. And now you're shining brighter than ever. And they're attracted to that light, but they're only getting burned by it instead of it engulfing them and helping them like normally. But that was never normal. That was just always them taking advantage of you in this situation. And, you know, that's not how it works. Wow, that came out so fast. We have karma, DNA. Yeah, so what goes around comes around is what I'm hearing here. But we also see here, it's like it's written that this is a part of their karmic lessons. They have to face themselves. It's just a part of their journey. And you're trusting that. On the bottom, the wake-up call. Yeah. Now they're going through emotional turmoil. Emotional turmoil that they feel like you caused. They're blaming that on you. And that, of course, is a huge misunderstanding. It is a misunderstanding because it's not your fault, right? Just like how we feel when we get triggered by someone, that's not because of someone, it's because of the circumstances. And the circumstances are actually mirrors of past trauma that we went through. So the reason we feel a certain way is not because of even the circumstance itself. It's because of the trigger that therein lies because of the trauma we received when we were younger. And so the emotions that are coming forth are actually due to the trauma, not because of the people and the circumstances in our lives. But it's easier to blame the people and the circumstances in our lives. You know, I remember when I was in therapy, she always told me, she's like, people are going to always tell you, well, you made me feel this way, right? But we don't make people feel any way. They have to honor and own their own emotions. And I use that now, and I've had a lot of people tell me, like, I know, you know, like this, that, and the other. And it's so funny because it's like, that shows how little you know about taking accountability for your own emotions. Like when you're still blaming me when I'm telling you I have no power over you that way. I'm literally telling you I don't have power over you in that way. But for some people, that even upsets them because it's taking away the only reasoning that they have that feels sound. You're breaking down the stability or the foundation that they feel has been stable in their life for some time. And so now they're struggling with that, right? But if you're telling someone, well, your emotions are actually a result of your trauma and not this circumstance, that means that they have to actually start looking into the past at the things that they experienced when they were younger. And most people would much rather do anything other than that. So it's easier to stay in the blame game. We have child magical coming out. The light attribute sees the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. And the shadow is pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles. Believing that energy and action are not required for growth. That's where they're at. They're in this very pessimistic place in the shadow, and I don't have to take action to receive growth. I can just be who I am, or you can't teach an old dog new tricks type of energy. And they're misunderstanding your shift for you choosing to be a different way. Well, yeah, in a way you are choosing to be a different way, but it's coming because of the growth. Messiah, serving humanity with humility. And you got Virgo energy. You're very humble, very, very humble person here. It says exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. And we see they're in that shadow energy as well. So they're in this place of thinking that this is the only way I'm going to get what I want is if I'm the one that's in power and control. Well, we know the most controlling people are the most out of control people, but do the most controlling people know they themselves are the most out of control people? No, they don't. Oh, okay. I was shuffling these all weird, but we're gonna go with it. So we've got the moon came out with cue up the cuddles, and you're facing your own emotions. That's the thing, like that's what they're misunderstanding is that you're healing your emotions. For them, they're seeing it as you coming at them the way they're coming at you. because they don't know any other, they just don't know any other way of doing it. Not seeing clearly. We have the 12th house, rest and rejuvenate. And so now you're being given a period of time where you're being allowed to rest because you need to rest. This has been a very stressful situation. And that's irritating this person even more too, because like this underlying energy across the whole collective message has been laziness, and that's not at all what it is. But there's so many people who are so unhealed, they really believe that rest is unnecessary. Last time I checked, all of us were human. We sleep so we don't go crazy, right? And I believe there's actually a disorder out there where people are unable to sleep. What was it? There was a family. There was a family that this affected. There was some sort of genetic mutation in their DNA. Interesting that this is coming out now. There was some sort of genetic mutation in their DNA, and when they hit a certain age, they couldn't sleep. Like, no matter what, they could not fall asleep, okay? And this family is the only known documentation of this. It's not insomnia, right? Because even when you're an insomniac, like, you still have periods where you go to sleep, even if it's only for a little while. You might take a 20-minute power nap, but you still get some rest. And this documented case of this family is where, like, after a while, they literally died because they couldn't go to sleep. They started going crazy. Like, their minds just started deteriorating because of the lack of sleep, right? But and I say this because it's like so many people believe that rest is such a terrible thing, but we're human. We're meant to rest. We're designed to sleep, because sleep is when our brain resets itself and processes what's happened to us and helps us start again. Okay? Yeah, disruption here. They've wanted to disrupt this process of your healing, but not knowing that it's healing. They wanted to disrupt it because they don't think that anyone can come from a place like what they're coming from. Right? Well, you're not. That's true. You're not. You're coming from a place of spiritual awakening. Yeah, the card came out to say it. The spiritual awakening. There's a light inside everyone, and spiritual awakening is about lighting it up. Feel the beauty in your life and listen to your inner voice. When you are awakened, you will have more power to face life. Exactly. So that's exactly where you're coming from, is a spiritual awakening. But for them, they're misunderstanding it as you coming from the shadow. Not that they would know that that's what that is, right? This is not someone I feel like is spiritual by any means. This is just someone who operates from their trauma. Maintain discipline. The day you're waiting for will come. Maintain discipline. You're getting closer to your end goal. There's no need to overextend yourself, right? Rest and rejuvenate. Guard your energy to remain focused. It will pay off. It's a climb, not the elevator. It's about the climb. Who sings that? Is that Miley Cyrus song? Yeah, it's about the climb. It was never about the end result. It was always about the climb. And so you're leaning into that. But for them, they're misunderstanding it. And they're not seeing it for what it is, the spiritual awakening, because they're not capable of understanding that. They only want you back to that old energy that they felt like they had control and power over. But now you're too busy expressing yourself and being authentic and embodying your truth. There is no going back. And now they have to face their own pain. And that's scary. That's scary. You were it was like the dump station, right? Where they dumped everything that they had on you. And you were the one that was feeling the effects of that. And now they're mad that they have to deal with it themselves because they don't have somebody else that they can dump onto like they dumped on you. Process. It's time to put those long-cherished ideas into action. You will soon come into contact with appropriate individuals, circumstances, and resources. Eventually, you will experience joy as well as brand new opportunities. Trust in the process. You're connecting with new people. This has been the process all along. You're now moving into this place where you're connecting with more like-minded individuals, with people who understand you, with people who see you. Encouragement. You are going to level up. It might not feel good initially, but it will prepare you to handle the greater things in life for your highest good. This is the why you've been looking for. Push through it. There's a reward waiting at the finish line. Yeah, so this whole time, you've been leveling up, right? And what you're going through right now is still a part of that leveling up. And it's giving you the courage, the depth, the knowledge, and the wisdom you need in order to deal with other people who are going to be like this along your journey. But it's going to be you bowing out gracefully. You're just not going to carry it anymore. And so it might be frustrating that you're still going to have to deal with people like that, but that's life. That's life. No matter how much we grow spiritually, yes, we're going to attract in the people who are meant for us on the journey, but that doesn't mean that we get rid of all the lower vibrational people, because they're all around us. Everywhere we go, they're all around us. We're going to run into them. They're going to be a part of our journey. What this does, though, is it gives us the tools to help us navigate when those situations arise. But you're misunderstood because you're getting an arsenal under your belt right now, and they're seeing it as you taking every possible advantage that you can to gain control over them. But for you, pile 3, you don't even want control over them. You don't even want anything to do with them. But that is something that is so outside of their scope, because, oh my gosh, how dare someone not want something to do with me? As if the whole world revolves around you. Blame. Didn't I say that they're blaming you now? I accept responsibility for my well-being. I'm pretty sure I said that at the beginning somewhere around in the reading. We were talking about how now they're blaming you for how they feel. They're blaming you for having to deal with their own pain. Yep. And that's a misunderstanding. There is no blame to be had because it's theirs to deal with, but now they don't have you to dump it onto. So it's so easy to give away the power to transform your life. Certainly there have been people along the path who have shaped you into who you are today, but you are solely responsible for your own happiness. The ego can be a very fragile thing, and if it comes under fire, the first instinct is to blame an outside force. Victim consciousness weakens the connection that you have to your soul source. The mindset says, I don't have the power inside myself to break free because someone else's power is stronger. This is an illusion. When you believe that someone else is responsible for your problems, I can't with this absolute amazing confirmation. Thank you, Source. That belief is the problem. Personal responsibility can empower you to change your reality. Lasting transformation always begins on the inside and works its way out. There is a difference between a reason and an excuse. I'm not the reason that you walk away. Baby, I'm not the reason. Who sings that? I think it's called The Reason, but I don't remember who sings it. Anyways, a reason is valid and unavoidable. An excuse is an attempt to shift blame. Yeah, so they've been trying to shift the blame back onto you for the way that now they're feeling, which they felt all along, but now they're not able to feel like, oh, I have control over pile number 3. So they're misunderstanding your shift, and taking accountability for yourself is actually you stepping away from them, and that's what they're misunderstanding. So now all they're doing is blaming you for how they feel, and at the end of the day, let them. It's not your responsibility to do anything about that. It's not your responsibility to try to alter that or stand up for yourself in this, because that's where this person is. They're doing their best to try to bait you back in, because then they feel they can dump back onto you. So there's a lot that they're experiencing right now because they don't have you. Cool. Let that be. It's not easy. And I know walking away is hard, but you're the one that's transformed. You're embodying your truth now, and you're not being a jerk. You've never been a jerk. Okay, like that's not what this is. You have learned how to stand up for yourself in a very effective way. And that's why they want to call it you being a jerk. It's because they don't know how to come back. How do you come back to logic? You can't. Sometimes that's just where it ends at, right there. It's like, it's the truth and that's it. But sometimes the truth, it's not wrong. It can hurt, but it's not wrong. Okay? So this is what I see here for you, pile number 3. If you feel like this was your reading, leave the little sun emoji down below and say, by choosing my light and choosing to express my truth and stand up for myself, I release myself from the burden of carrying others' problems, prejudices, and sins, so that I can live my life freely and fly high above everyone else. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, please check out the description box. It'll have everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member here on the channel. And with that, I would like to take this moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very deep message. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.